Welcome back to the deep dive. So you asked us to look into Brianna Wiest's The Mountain Is You.
That's right. A really interesting book.
Yeah, and we've been digging into this core idea, how we sometimes, unknowingly create our own biggest roadblocks.
Exactly. It frames it as shifting from self-sabotage towards self-mastery.
And this central metaphor, the mountain, that's basically all the internal stuff holding us back.
Precisely. The obstacles we build inside ourselves.
Well, okay, got it. And hey, if this kind of exploration sounds good to you, definitely take a second to subscribe to the Book Talkers Podcast YouTube channel. We do deep dives like this all the time.
Good point.
So yeah, our goal today is to really unpack the key lessons from this book, hopefully helping you figure out how to tackle your own inner mountain.
Well, one of the first things that really stands out is how Wiest reframes self-sabotage.
Oh yeah, how so?
It's not presented as just like a personal failing or a flaw. It's more like an unconscious coping mechanism.
A coping mechanism.
Yeah. Often rooted in old fears, maybe trauma, or just limiting beliefs we picked up. It's almost like it's trying to protect us.
Protect us from what, though?
From perceived threats, things like failure, rejection, maybe even success sometimes. The crucial first step she highlights is understanding the purpose, the why, behind your specific self-sabotaging habits. What are they actually trying to shield you from?
Okay, that's a big shift in thinking. So if they're protective, how do we even spot them in ourselves? It sounds tricky.
It can be, and that's where radical self-awareness comes in. The book really hammers this home as the starting point.
Radical self-awareness, what does that look like in practice?
Well, things like really honest introspection, maybe journaling, mindfulness, tools like that. The goal is to identify those hidden limiting beliefs, those automatic habits, the thought patterns that are running the show unconsciously.
So asking yourself, what beliefs are really holding me back right now?
Exactly. Getting curious about your own inner landscape.
And that connects to emotions too, right? I remember that part.
Absolutely. It ties right into emotional intelligence. The book suggests emotions aren't the enemy. They're actually messengers, valuable ones.
Messengers. Interesting.
Yeah, learning to actually listen to your emotional responses instead of just reacting or suppressing them gives you massive clues about what needs healing or attention inside.
So it's about tuning in rather than shutting down.
Precisely. And then practicing things like, reframing negative thoughts, noticing your emotional triggers, but responding with self-compassion instead of self-criticism. It's about gently rewiring those old patterns.
Okay, so you become aware, you learn to listen to your emotions. Then what? What about the actual mountain?
Right, the mountain. That represents everything you're kind of avoiding, doesn't it?
Yeah, the fears, the uncomfortable stuff, maybe old wounds.
Exactly. And the book argues pretty strongly that real growth, real change, only happens when you start to actually confront those things, turn towards them.
Which is usually the opposite of what we want to do.
Yeah. Of course. Comfort feels safer. But Wiest draws this really important line between staying comfortable and choosing self-discipline.
Self-discipline. Okay.
Yeah. Building routines, being consistent, doing the hard things, even when you don't feel like it. Because that process, that's what builds genuine self-trust. You prove to yourself you can follow through.
That makes a lot of sense. Doing hard things builds trust in yourself.
And speaking of insights, if you folks listening are finding this helpful, maybe give the video a like.
Yeah, definitely. And let us know in the comments, too. Are there other books you'd love for us to tackle in a future deep dive? We'd love to hear your suggestions.
Absolutely. Getting back to it, this whole process often means, letting go of who you used to be.
Letting go of past versions of yourself.
Yeah. To really move forward and climb that mountain, you often need to shed old identities or stories that no longer fit. The book encourages you to actively envision your desired future self.
Like visualization.
Exactly. Visualization, maybe affirmations, but crucially, taking daily actions that actually align with that future self you're aiming for.
So it's not just thinking, it's doing.
Right. And she touches on some key practices for this. Things like shadow work.
Shadow work. Confronting the denied parts of yourself?
Yeah, the stuff you push away. Also self-inquiry, really questioning the old narratives you tell yourself. And inner child healing, too, addressing those past wounds.
Those sound like deep waters.
They can be, but potentially very powerful for transformation. There's this quote from the book that really nails it.
Which one?
Your new life is going to cost you your old one.
Oof. Yeah, that hits home. It really underlines that need to release the past to build something new.
It does. And it's important to remember this journey isn't usually linear. There will be bumps, moments that feel like setbacks.
Totally. It's easy to get discouraged.
Right. But there's another great quote for that. You are not failing. You are recalibrating.
Recalibrating. I like that. It reframes those tough moments.
It does. It's about adjusting, learning, not judging yourself so harshly. Part of the process.
So wrapping it up, the big takeaway from The Mountain Is You seems to be that, yeah, our biggest obstacles are often internal, created by us in a way.
But crucially, that means the power to change them is also internal. It's possible through conscious effort, through self-awareness, through doing the work.
It's an empowering message. Even though the climb itself sounds challenging, it's ultimately about building a stronger, more authentic you.
Absolutely. And if you want to keep exploring ideas like this, keep learning with us, please do subscribe to the Book Talkers Podcast YouTube channel.
Yeah, hit subscribe. We're always diving into new material to help you on your path. And like we said, drop a comment. Let us know what books you're interested in. We really value that feedback.
Definitely.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with today is this. What's just one small step, maybe even a tiny one, that you can take today to start climbing your mountain?
Good question to ponder.
Hope to see you next time for another deep dive.